Not really.
No.
You know, it's a process between now and then.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, your kids are growing up, it's a little different. Just husband and wife together. We had granddaughters and all that, and we took care of all that, and
Oh,
everybody
good.
else.
Will you stay local for the holidays?
For this one, this year we will, yeah.
Good.
My other son's on the West Coast, so we alternate between the coasts every year.
Oh, good for you.
Along with the Bay Area in Christmas time.
Yeah. We're this is the first Christmas for us where all three boys are out of the house, so they'll be.
A little different then. You know how that feels.
Well, they're all local. You know, they're all in and around Manhattan, but so it'll be they'll be here Christmas morning, and then we'll spend the day together. But and it'll be fun.
Hi, gentlemen. How are you?
Hey, Michael, how are you?
Yeah,
Hi,
good,
Michael.
good. Hi, Martin. I apologize for my voice. I had a cold. I got over it, and then I went to that conference in London. I was constantly speaking, you know, either with people who were walking by the booth or at presenting, and just my voice still hasn't recovered yet. I'm almost there, 90% there.
Well, you sound good enough. Didn't sound like
Good.
yourself though, but good enough.
Yeah. I'm the clone CTO.
So,
Is Jack going to be joining us?
I think so. Everybody's got plans for the holidays here, and I think he's around, and I think he's going to be on the call.
Okay, great.
so
So
go ahead. I was gonna.
No, I was going to say, my sort of agenda for the call, and let me know if you think this is okay, is we have 45 minutes. I'd like to just talk about, I know you had lunch with Jeff and you had some questions, and so I'd like to go through some of those. I wrote some of them down, and maybe we can have a discussion about those. And if you're amenable to it, also talk about the email that we sent and get your thoughts on that. And then a real quick slide deck. It's 9 slides. I don't want to take up our time making you look at slides, but it's a deep dive technical deck, and I really just want to get into the details of exactly what powers the technology and where we are in the product roadmap, just so that's clear.
That'd be a good thing, because I'm kind of confused on that right now. And
Fantastic.
So I think if you lead with that, and Jock doesn't need to be on the call for that. So if you want to get into that right now, that would be good.
Okay, that sounds great. Let me share my screen. Is that coming across good?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. All right. And Jeff, feel free to jump in at any point in time, but I'm
Yeah,
going to
sure.
lead on this. It's technical discussion. So we're basically breaking through into the industry with something we consider to be new, which is a media contextualization engine. And I want to talk to you, that sounds like a buzzword, so I want to talk to you and tell you exactly what it means. So you know what our product does, so we can kind of skip over this, but it's a media contextualization platform. It's basically allowing us to take videos and audio content and just make them easier to watch and share, and make people who watch videos more efficient in getting them to the information that they need immediately. And then from the other side, taking statistics from the video watching and being able to use the contextualization to target specific viewers, depending on what their interest levels are and things like that. So let me get into the details here. So our intellectual property, I consider to consist of 3 different things. The first is the AI-assisted tagging, which we hope will train to complete automation in the future. Now, AI is a buzzword, so again, let's try to talk about what we're really talking about. So we take the video, and the first thing we do is break it up into what we call an actionable table of contents. So just like with a book, you wouldn't read a book without a table of contents. We don't think you should be watching videos without a table of contents. We take, looks like Jack's here, excellent. So we take,
Hey, Jack.
there. So what we're doing is we're using the video intelligence API from Google along with some proprietary technology to do scene detection, to look for pauses and detect speakers. And in doing that, we try to find logical breakpoints for where we could break the video up into portions that can serve as the chapters and sections of the video. So that's what we do. And then there's a machine learning aspect to that as well, whereby once we launch and we get critical mass, and there's more people who are looking at these tables of contents and correcting them. This doesn't make sense. I'm going to change the wording here. That all feeds back to a neural network that we're building that makes that more powerful. So this is sort of one.
Okay, so just to take a pause.
Okay.
You threw out quite a bit of things at words and phrases and tech items.
Okay.
So what I'm mostly interested in is so you made a comment about speakers. Okay. So the comment I have first off is the video content. What video content are you really targeting that your technology, when it's ready to go on the shelf, production ready, and you're not embarrassed by handing it off to a company or a series of individuals or whatever may want to use that for their own revenue purposes? What is that? What are the kind of videos that you can stand behind, say, because you can't do everything, because you out of the gate you're not going to train them. I'm not hearing training at all. I'm hearing that when you start talking about the third bullet, I heard, down the road when we get more data, that's what? Because you got more data to train, live data that you're using to train? Or where's all the test data that you use to train when you do these things? So what I'm mostly interested first is the video. What is the format of the video? Is it like conference video where you got defined speakers, so your table of contents can look for subject matter with speakers, and then you can go across all the video that's online and do the same thing for the ones you find them in? Or if I have a video of vacation, or a company video shooting a landscape play, if they're using it for whatever reason, how do you do table of contents on that? That's why I'm asking you about, your target in terms of the video content.
Sure, and you're absolutely correct. So that's what the third bullet point is. So, and we'll get into the training data a little bit. That was also a good question. That's actually on the next slide. But in terms of the types of videos, we're targeting 3. Okay, the first is conference and event videos. Those could be panel discussions, or they could just be literally people standing in front of a mic. And you're absolutely right. So when we're building this product, we're not just taking any video and throwing it through there. And in fact, you're going to get your hands on this. You're going to see certain types of videos. Right now, they just don't work as well because we haven't focused on them. So conference videos and event videos is number 1. Second one is training videos. They're the videos, let me go back to conferences. So what's good about conferences is they tend to have agendas, right? And so we want to take as much metadata as possible because that feeds into, that'll make the algorithm better. So we'll take a conference video, we're getting good about how transitions happen in those, how scenes flow, how speakers get passed back and forth, and then using the conference agenda. The second one is training videos. Okay, so those are like educational videos. I'm not talking about Sesame Street. I'm talking about like professional training videos. And those tend to have a very specific way that they're shot. And so we tend to be very good at that. And then the third one is scholarly publishing. So this is an area where we think we're going to be really hot. And we had a lot of interest when we were in London a couple weeks ago. And those are sort of a subset of conference videos. They're the IEEE, Optical Society of America, American Society for Advancement of Science, the World Health Organization. What all of these guys do is they have scientific journals, but 32% of their revenue is actually derived from conferences. And so we go in there and we know how they work, and we can shoot those. So some of this market is going to be controlled actually by the early adopters. The first clients we get, I think will help us really continue to improve this. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it did somewhat. But another question I have is, I understand the focus. I think it's good to have, when you do a startup like this, and you can't do the kitchen sink, you got to focus on certain categories of content.
Right.
So two questions. One is your where you are today, from what I understood from Jeff. and you threw out IE on the table, but I heard that was just a recent contact you guys made at some conference or whatever. So that tells me that you changed direction based on something coming up like that, which I think is good. And but you didn't focus originally on that. So you're changing. You're sort of changing your focus because you're going where the money is, which is good. And so on the technology side, though, you know, you say you do analysis of video and audio. You know, you'll be able to create a table of contents. Agendas are good. Are you getting? But you never really mentioned imagery in any of this, where you know video is made up of a collection of imagery, right? Frames and keyframes. So are you? How are you doing? You know, how are you bringing out the agenda and the content in order to create a table of contents? Where you don't really have machine learning right now, from what I'm talking to Jeff, you're handing out this authoring tool, but you're manually using it to set up the table of contents and the tagging the key information manually right now because none of the machine learning is in there. But when you start to, I mean, I'm rattling on too much. Maybe I'll just let you answer the question. Keep going. So video and audio, and how are you getting to what you need? What are you using to do that?
I actually want to address your first point first. Scholarly publishing has always been something we've gone after because the first exit that I had, UC Pacific, that company was focused on the scholarly publishing industry. So I knew that I know all of those guys and I could walk us immediately in. So Jeff wasn't necessarily buying in on it, I don't think. I'll let Jeff speak for himself. But I've been telling him, I was like, Jeff, conference videos is huge. It makes up 32% of the revenue. We got to go after these guys. So I basically sort of, I don't know if you want to say bullied or I convinced Jeff to go to this conference in London because it wasn't on his radar. And I think I think at that conference I've convinced you now, Jeff, that it's a market we should go after.
But, without a doubt. I mean, it's highly focused. It's a homogenistic market because they all have those conferences. And right now, you know, they derive a significant amount of their profit from the conferences, but the videos are underperforming assets for them. And you know,
so,
go ahead.
Yeah, no, so that's my background, right? So I sold to all of these guys, and so I know the principals of all those companies, and it's a nice target market to go after for all those reasons. So, so I didn't mean to cut you, Jeff, but I still fresh in my head. I wanted to answer the other question that Martin had. And I'm going to skip to the second slide. There's a lot of technical blow jump on here. I didn't want to know how deep you want to get into the technology or not, like at the algorithm level or whatever. But basically, to answer your question is, it's both, Martin. And I think, you know, it's not accurate, everything that you said. So we do allow you to tag manually, but the manual is after the AI. So we do have, the AI does run right now, and its accuracy right now is, I would say, suspect. Okay, I don't know. I'm an engineer. Okay, I was just talking to Todd, who's our chief marketing officer. He thinks it's awesome, but I know right now we're probably using about 10% of what's available to us, and once we get funding, we'll be able to really kick this thing into high gear and do all the things I want to do. But from an imagery standpoint, it's scene detection. Okay, so what's that mean? That means there's certain things that happen in these videos visually that are indicators of an area where a new tag should be created, a new chapter or section. Either you'll see, like maybe it's some types of videos, like a training video, those fade to black for a minute and they'll come back. In a conference video, it'll be fixed on the face of someone, and then suddenly it'll switch over. So we sort of take all of those things into account, but that's not good enough, right? We've also got to look at the text. So we do text to speech to text. We get the transcript, and that's when we get all this. And I want to give you a chance to ask any more questions before I talk about what we do there, because that's pretty. It's pretty.
Yeah. So you mentioned that you're using Google's technology for the video. For the audio, are you using Google as well?
No, we started using Google, but so this is one of my strengths as CTO. Is I've been doing this for 25 years, but it's content contextualization, not media contextualization. So what I did in the past is the ability to take large volumes of documents for publishers, for example, which is why I know that industry really well, or the healthcare sector, and be able to use algorithms that can classify it and extract topical metadata and decide what it's about. So um, that algorithm is ours. I call it OCI, orthogonal corpus indexing. I can explain to you why it's called that. um, but it's basically what we do is, and I think this is really innovative. We take authoritative research. Okay, so scientific journals, could be Mesh. It can be anything that's sort of an authoritative formal source, and we'll use that to derive an ontology of topics. Okay, and it's just, things like breast cancer or I don't know, astronomy or things like that. They're arranged in such a way so that they're related to each other. There's relationships between things, and then what we do is you're asking about the training set. The training set that we use. So from that we develop a starter taxonomy ontology, which is about 40,000 nodes, and then we use as the training set the actual published works themselves. So this is brilliant because you could go online and you could find every paper written, research paper back for the last 30 years. So we take those, and you're talking, millions of documents, and we know what their topical associations are, and then we use them as the initial training set. And then the idea is going to be, we're not here yet, the idea is that as people use this, as we do the classification, and I can describe why we do it, but it'll get better because as the AI starts to produce results, they're going to be like, no, this is wrong, or this is tweaked, and it'll get better and better. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but you basically you have some IP. You said last time we spoke, you said there was no patents. Yet from prior companies that you worked at, you have access to some algorithms that you were using for looking at text to build out an ontology. And then you mentioned that you're taking the audio track and converting it to text with transcription. What technology are you using to do that?
So the speech to text is Google. We use that. Okay. Eventually, I think we'll move away from that. But what's proprietary is this OCR. So it's two things. It's being able to take large volumes of content, turn them into these ontologies, and then it's the ability to train them and create what we call a concept signature. And like I said, I throw a lot of these words around, but what all that means is if there's a video and it's about woodworking, and then there's a concept somewhere in our ontology that says woodworking, and it has a concept signature, which is basically a vector of terms and weights that uniquely describe what it is. So to answer your question, basically Zeotag is the culmination of all of the work that I've done for the last 25 years. As we go along, we learn things. I have 2 patents prior. I don't own them. My name's on them, right? This technology has nothing to do with those, except that the things that I learned in doing those, I've applied those things, and then I've taken it another step further with the media components.
Okay. So for machine learning, which you're not doing with this, I can see in here, it requires totally different kinds of mathematical methods. One of which is classification, and you are building a classification, with the ontology. But a lot of the other one is different than that. It's like different automatic differentiation, all about probability, right? And to build that set really takes people that have backgrounds in doing that. Otherwise, as a developer, as a tech guy, even myself, it's almost impossible, to get it right out of the box. So so this fund that, the fund and the money you're asking for, and I know that this money is going to go into getting this machine learning to work and extending that. But we would like to see some sort of, financial plan about what that's going to look like in terms of your burn rate. If you're going to partner, if you're going to license, I assume you're going to use TensorFlow or something else like that to do it, because you're not going to create those math algorithms yourself.
No.
Right.
And
so, when Jeff and I spoke, the product, at this point is mostly manual, other than some of the stuff I see on this slide. And but it still has value. It's not saying it doesn't have the value. But one of the things that Jock and I requested was to get access to your authoring tool and your players so that we could get a feel for how well it's working at this point in time. You know, we just need a point in time. I don't expect anything to be commercial, but we want to try to get a feel for level of effort matched against what you guys are talking about in terms of your requirements in terms of money. And then the focus, which I'm hearing is a good focus, right? And your background certainly has a lot of connective tissue with companies that are authors of the video types that you're looking for, which is a good alignment. But I'm a little concerned about where you are today with tech and where you need to go and what it's going to, what that burn rate is going to look like to get there. And where are these developers? You know, are they going to be down in Colombia? They're going to be in India? They're going to be in Ukraine or in Silicon Valley? You know, because that makes a difference in what your burn rate looks like.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you got to quality people. You got to have some PhDs on board. You do this machine learning that you're going to be pressing on. Otherwise, you're going to be stumbling with that.
Yeah. So just really quickly, with the machine learning, you know, the way it works is you just want as much data as possible because humans think that they're good at detecting trends, but they're not, and machines really are. So the whole idea is to use this, but to also take everything about the video, right? Every single piece of metadata we can derive and put that into the machine learning algorithm, and it'll get better. In terms of the team and where we are, so actually, let me skip ahead.
Well, that statement you just said, it's just a sort of a global statement about machine learning. Has no real, to me, it doesn't give me any value other than you just kind of pontificated something around that. You know, I mean, this is hard work that you have to do here, and it's not about putting pieces together. It's about it's about understanding all the data you have access to in that video, whether it be the imagery part of it, the voice part of it, the text part of it, and then longitudinally all the other ones are like this one that you already might have processed. Now, there's a lot that goes into this, but in order to get your models right, you got to go through, tens of millions of records of data, to really have enough to start training. And I'm sure you can get enough in this category, no question about it. But you got to get, so I'm trying to understand with that level of magnitude and the complexity where you bring in, voice, text, and imagery and into as input into, TensorFlow or something like that to be able to get a result that can help you tag better, and do it longitudinally. That's not an easy task.
No, absolutely not.
But you're talking that way. That's what bothers me.
No. I mean, honestly, Martin, I want you to have some confidence in me. I mean, you don't know me, right? That's for sure. But I live and breathe this. This is all that I've done since I worked at the CIA, coming right out of school. I was recruited by them. I worked in this is my life. So this is my life's work. So if I come across as being overly confident, I apologize. I really feel like I know this space well. I know there's a lot of work to do. But when you see what we've done, and we're going to hand you the keys today, and I would like you to play around with the site. I want you to know that it was 3 full-stack developers, 1 data scientist, and me. It was essentially 5 people. Now, they were brilliant people, okay? I searched the 4 corners of the earth. I went back to people I worked with at prior companies. I think, we've got people from, I think it's 5 team members from 3 different countries. But you're going to see that we've built out the product, which most of the product, you'll see the manual tagging and stuff, that's, anybody can do that, right? But we do have the AI working to a certain degree. Now, it's not where I want it to be, but we've actually made some progress, and I think it works okay. As much as you can expect it with 5 people in 12 weeks. But, I'm really proud of what we've been able to accomplish in that time. And I just think, if we can get funding between me and this team that I've already built and the people that I've got in mind to bring on board, and by the way, they would be physically in Colombia, but we recruit from all around the world. So we've got someone on the team who's from China. We've got someone who's on there from Cuba. We've got Italian, So we grab people from everywhere, we find the best of the people, we collate them in one space, and like I said, I don't want you to think that I think this is easy. I know it's not, but this is about me sitting down with the team and working through these problems and making progress and being able to show progress. And by the way, we're okay if you say to us, we want milestone investment. We want to see you actually do some of this. We're okay with Jeff. I think Jeff, I'm speaking for Jeff here, but we're okay with that because we want to be held to a high standard and to show that we can do this.
Okay. All right. Well, we're running out of time.
Yeah. So
20 minutes. Let's move through the slides.
Okay. Yeah. So speaker diarization is the other component. We talked about this. Originally, we used Google Speaker Diarization Engine, but now we've used our own algorithms that are based on an open source library called Caldi. This is the speaker detection. This is creating the unique biometric for every speaker so that we can identify when videos get loaded who speaks.
Yeah.
This we had working. I wasn't happy with it. I had them taken out of the product. We're rebuilding it, and January 1st is when this will be back in.
There may be a link with the whole voice DNA, and I could do an intro to a company called Yobi. Yobi's key technology is understanding the DNA of a voice and then be able to track that voice and know who it is. Mm-hmm. And it's really good signal processing tech. It's not just shoving the kind of old school stuff. It was created out of Boston University. A professor teaches signal processing, and there might be a thread with this, because to me that's really key to be able to detect a voice and have a library, and save off those DNA footprints, or fingerprints, and that in itself could be worth quite a bit.
Sure, good idea.
And that could be a partnership where it's sort of you guys figure out what the license agreement would be. Yeah, but that's on the shelf, and it's software. It's C++.
Yeah. So just to interject, the architecture of the whole product is to be very modular. So certain organizations are going to standardize on IBM AI stack. Some are going to standardize on Amazon's stack, things like that. So our stuff, we think that market is going to mimic what happened in analytics, and every organization is going to standardize on an analytics package. So we think every organization is going to standardize on an AI package, and we'd like to play nice with everybody. So that's certainly on the enterprise play. That's the direction we're going.
Well, I think you're a little off with that. Most companies that have accepted cloud services like hospital systems, they are very up for whoever provides the best tech. They don't care.
Okay.
As long as they're compliant, as long as regulatory is met, they don't care if I use this in Google or that in AWS or the other one at Azure or something, even from Samsung. They don't give a shit. All right. What they're looking for is their bottom line and how it contributes to save money. Most of the hospital systems all about saving money and saving time, right?
Yeah, I know.
So the companies are moving away from that, the silo thing. But I think what I hear you guys doing, which I respect, Google can be very expensive if you keep it running all the time, and you're under development, you want to cut that down. And a lot of that stuff is that Google's using. You can get it the same through open source, and maybe it's even better in some cases because it's more focused on what you need,
right,
rather than sort of a breadth of stuff.
Yeah.
And so you got to make the right choices at the tech level, which Michael sounds like he's doing, and pretty much behind that. Yeah. But no one vendor provides everything you need. That's for sure. And I do things. I use the rainbow. I don't dedicate, and it's best that you don't commit on one. In terms of the way you host your stuff. Yeah. It's better to use open source stuff and you put it on servers than using your stuff.
Yeah.
But aside from all that, the point was with Yobi is it's a voice print, right? It doesn't give a shit if it's Spanish, French, Chinese, doesn't matter. It's just a voice print to know who that person is that's talking. And that's the value that you have of that particular chat. So you may, if you want me to, I can make that intro.
Great.
If you want to hold off, I'm fine with that too. It is one of our portfolio companies, so I do have a stake of why I'm bringing it up. But I think it can solve this problem. And to do this problem is really hard. To try to do it yourself is really hard. And I hadn't seen anything out in the market, including from Amazon, Google, Bixby, any of these guys that do it as well as this. So just a thought. So I think we should do now. It wouldn't be bang to tack them up in 30 minutes. Why don't we talk about the financial email that you sent us with the 9 million eval in there, and have Jock give his thoughts about that, and any other financial questions Jock may have, or business questions that may spawn up after this conversation.
Great.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Jock, go on.
Yeah, I think you sort of come back and said, hey, you understand where we're coming from in terms of the equity stake, but this is earlier than we had imagined when we kicked off our discussions with you all. So that being said, I think we need to hold firm to our 30%, and that is again considering the stage that you're at. I mean, if in order for our fund thesis to be effective, you're right on the cusp of fitting the thesis, but you don't check a couple of really important boxes. And if you had, we'd be a little bit more flexible on equity terms. But you haven't, and so we're not. And I just want to get these out in front, because I don't want us to be in a non-starter conversation.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I agree. I concur.
I think what we had talked about last time, Chuck, which I liked, was perhaps we take on much less money, right? And we get to that point where we've checked those boxes, and then we go ahead and take the second round. I think Jeff and I, we talked with the team about that. We're comfortable with it. The 30% number, that makes us a little bit uneasy. But I guess it all depends what the numbers look like in the end. So, how would they look with 30%?
Well, we recognize two things. So first off, even if you said, hey, I need $1 million to get through to, a minimum viable product, or the next, the realized next commercial iteration, at $1 million, we're still seeking a 30% stake. It's not going to change. It's not going to change the uniform equity metric. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm saying up front. Like if you said, hey, we need 10 million, that changes the risk profile for us. So yeah, the short answer is there's something here. You guys have got something. We recognize that there's a market, and we think that there's a reasonable chance, there's a reasonable likelihood that you're going to solve all these problems. But as Marty points out, none of these are trivial, and I think you agreed with that. None of these are trivial problems to solve. These are big problems to solve.
Sure.
And it's not like you've got protection. There is reasonably no protection here. And, whilst we don't disagree with the patent filing process, it would take a long time, you're exposing your IP, there's two ways to garner protection, one of which is to file a bunch of patents and then defend them, which requires capital, which we know that falls largely on the institutional capital. Like, we know that we have to be prepared to provide follow-on capital for legal defense of patents, but there aren't any patents here. So the next best way to get to create a moat around the product, around the service, is to go to market, and that also hasn't happened yet. So what I'm saying in a nutshell is, the 2.25 you're asking for, you've got an informed calculus about how to use that, and that is enough to get you to where you need to be. That investment has to be at a minimum of 30% for us, because even if it was delivered to you in tranches, it would still it's still a there's still a significant amount of risk here outside of our thesis.
So, Jock, are you saying you're saying 30% and 1 million? So that would be a $3 million valuation. Is that,
No,
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you ask for less, it would still be the same. We would require the same equity stake, because you're going to need more money.
Yeah, so
And that's the reality.
What-
You're going to need follow-on capital.
what I heard, I'm sorry, what I heard was that 2.25 at a 30% stake. Is that correct?
Yeah, we are putting a marker down, and I just want to be consistent that we require a 30% stake in the company. Now, if you said, "Hey, I need $500,000 cash because I know I can come back to the well later on at a higher valuation," we would still require 30% right now. And if you said, "Hey, I want $1 million today," and then 6 months from now, when things are going really well, you said, "Hey, by the way, we need another couple $1 million," we would accept that follow-on capital would be cheaper for you, because you would have solved some of these problems. But up front, we're being very clear that our expectation is to have a 30% stake.
Sure.
Given, as I said, given the stage where we're at.
Right. Yeah. So if we're looking at 2.25 million at a 7.5 valuation post money, that's something I could take back to the board.
Yeah. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the truth is, Jock, I mean, we really want this to work. We've talked to a number of the VC groups, we have, and we're willing to take worse terms to be with you, because we know what your group offers, and there couldn't be a better fit for us in the market. So we're trying to be flexible, right? So the 30% number is not one we would take from anybody else.
Good. No, we definitely appreciate that, and a lot of people in the VC community have borne witness to that as well, because they recognise that we're kind of we are specialists.
Right. Okay. So what would be the next step if we take this back to our board and they approve? What would be the next step?
Well, I think you get that approved, and then Marty and I have to dig in deeper on the technology, and we still have some business homework to do on the size and scale of the market, and we will be sharing with you some of that business homework.
Yeah. Hey, Jock, can you share with us anything that your 360 eval would have done?
Sure. Yeah, we can go into that 1 second. I'm just going to log back into our document.
So while you're doing that, we do want you to use the product and look at it. So, we're not going to have time for the demo, I don't think, Jeff. So what I would suggest that we do is we shoot a tutorial video, 2-3 minutes, that walks through, and then we give them usernames and passwords, and then, they can watch the video, they can see how to get in, and then they can go and start playing around with it, and they, see exactly where we are.
Sure.
Does that make sense to you, Jeff? Okay.
Yeah, so, the product is in use. We've signed up some early adopters, and, we have evaluations going on at a couple of different places. So as it is, it's got a lot of value. It's not like it doesn't work. The magic sauce for us is having the AI build a table of contents. And we're early in that process.
Right, yeah. Although I'm pleased with where we are, Jeff.
Yes.
It's just not easy work, as Martin said. So it's going to take investment and time. But I am pleased with where we've gotten in a short period of time.
Right.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing quite like having a noose around your neck to get stuff done, right?
Now, Jack,
and we understand that because we've been there. And
that's our incentive program.
Probably why you're attracted to us in a way. Like, we get it. We definitely get it. A lot of VCs at this point would have said pass. But the reason why we're as engaged as we are is because we want you to get to the next step.
Right.
Okay, so let's spend a couple of minutes here talking about what we perceive as your weaknesses, and you can take notes on these.
Sure.
And I don't think we have time to address to go into depth in your answers, but I'd love it if you, or Marty and I would love it if you could be thoughtful and spend some time, discussing these. Now, Marty's highlighted a lot of the technical threats and risks, so I'll leave that alone for a second. I just also highlighted the defensive moat challenge, which I'd like you guys to think about and create a one-pager on. The other couple of things, like just the basic organization of the company. We've discussed that before in terms of who's doing what and where. The team, the talent, that's a potential weakness.
Oh, why do you say that, Jack? Actually, no, we don't have time to discuss it. Don't worry about it. Go through your list.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
We'll discuss later.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So the patent issue. Yeah. So I covered the moat. Your competitors. Let me just go through a couple of them that we think your competition's coming from a few different areas. But we'd like you to specifically address the following companies.
Sure.
Harmonic, Tagasaurus, Quantify, last part PHI, Velossa, VALOSSA, Sensify, SENSIFAI. We would love it if you could create a strengths and weaknesses comparative analysis of those companies based on your understanding of how they do things and how that compares with you. How that compares with Zeotag. And again, if a weakness, if their strength is given, please don't bother with their strength is they've raised capital or, or they have customers, because that doesn't count.
Hey, Jack, could I ask you for the name of the first company again? Is it Harmonica?
Yep, Parmonic, PARMONIC.
Okay.
So the first four are the first three are American companies. Veloss is Finnish and Sensify is Belgian.
Okay.
And then also we've discussed in prior calls Microsoft.
Sure.
And I know you've got pretty strong opinions on why why Zeotag is better. So I'd also like to get a bit more detail on Microsoft as well.
Yeah, that's fine. And we've been approached by them for Zeotag to be a front end to them. And we see the Zeotag visual navigation system, actionable table of contents, being a very good front end to a lot of these products. So we would pursue those kind of conversations and have a complementary relationship with them, and that it goes back to.
Yeah, that's fair, and I get that. The risk, though, is that some of these companies may very well say, not interested, because we're going to do that ourselves.
Right.
And that's the direct competitive threat.
Right.
And so I want it to be a more hostile approach. I get the partnership approach, and that's certainly something we're well aware of. And if we have the ability, as an investor, we would certainly pursue a more partnership type approach than a hostile one. But we have to assume a more cutthroat market competition model.
Great. Good.
Okay, and you have other questions too, right? So would you mind just putting them in an email and sending them to us, other concerns that you have, just everything, so we could sort of, Jeff, come in and I could be heads down and get you a very comprehensive response.
Well, those are really them. Yeah, no, fair enough. But those are really them at this stage, Michael. That it's
okay.
It's really the status of the product. To summarize it again, the first one was the stage and status of the product, including all of the issues that Marty's flagged up in the last 35, 40 minutes. And all those that come from us getting access and digging in. Followed by, call it corporate structure and team structure. And then competitive analysis.
Great.
Okay, so if we respond on this to you by, let's say, the middle of next week, is your team out on vacation for a Christmas holiday then? From tomorrow, I suppose, right? When would be a good time to follow up, do you think?
I think, well, we're all back on deck for the most part. The week of I guess a couple of days perhaps either side of New Year's. There'll be connectivity. The team will be, out and about, but there'll be some opportunity there. Then we're in most of us are in CES on the 5th through that next week. So really, we'll look for your email follow-up, digest it, and then if there's an opportunity to reconvene on a call, it would be around about, that week of Monday the 13th is when everybody's back in the office from the CES event.
Okay.
If you wanted to do a call next week with me on the tech, what I'm looking for, Michael, is just, a real honest assessment of what you have on the table today and the path to get to what you need to do. With no high level talk, but just really, what is the heavy lifting that you have to do, right? Because we're coming in as partners, we're coming in to help, and so that's really important that we collectively understand how you're going to move this tech forward. But that's really the platform is the pen. You can do all this evangelizing for partners, but if you don't have that thing running, you don't have the data, you can't do this business.
No, that makes perfect sense. I could give you.
So I'll be willing to get on a call next week if you want to review what you have, rather than wait all the way to the 13th, so you can keep that moving along if you want.
Yes.
So just let me know what your time looks like. I'm not pushing you to do it quickly, but I want it to be something you can stand behind. You're a smart guy, been there, done that. We have more than one conversation. I have a lot of confidence in your abilities, as the CTO and partner and founder in this company, and that's partly why we're putting money in, or we'll put money in. So I'm just looking for, sit down and, let's talk about it, so that we can
that'd be great.
What's going on. And if I can have that product start using, the training video will be fine, and then I can give you my sort of, senses of, what I've tried to do and what might not have worked, or, give you the good and the bad, I guess. And,
excellent.
Yeah, I think that's an important point. Marty's right, 100%. We don't, first off, there ought not to be surprises, and you also need, we need to all be sort of a little bit vulnerable here and say, hey, these are the perceived issues and problems and roadmap issues and all the rest of it, and be upfront about that so that we know what we're getting into. The best investments are the ones where we've got clarity, at least on what we're getting into, what the problems and threats are. The by the same token, if there's a sense, I'm getting a little bit of sense from you guys right now that there's, time and desperation element coming in, and that can sometimes make you misjudge your declarations and it can sometimes, make you say things that are forward-looking statements that just really aren't true, and so just be aware of that.
Yeah, so I'm just going to step up. I'm going to say you're going to be really delighted with the product you get this afternoon. It's a really good product.
Thanks, Jeff.
No, I'm telling you what the customers have told us, and I probably set lower expectations than I should have. The product is really good. When he's done building out the AI, it's going to be fabulous. Okay.
Well,
Okay. That's great.
But what Jock said makes perfect sense. Yeah, we will be 100% honest with you about exactly where we are, what our challenges are to get to where we need to go. We have a product roadmap. No worries there. And to be honest, we are, we do want to move this along as quickly as possible. We understand you need to do your due diligence, so it's fine. I mean, we've raised friends and family capital. We're burning through it. But don't worry, that won't affect our candor and where we are. And I'm a technology guy, I'm not a sales guy, so you'll get it straight from me.
Okay, good.
Great.
Hey, so I just have one ask for you, Jock. If you could just reply to my email with saying that you'd like to take the next step and you'd like to counter at a 30%.
So you can share it? Sure.
Yeah, I can share it. That'd be great.
It'll help us raise that the rest of the friends and family round that we need to be able to get us, to the investment.
Okay. Good. I'll do that shortly.
Fabulous. I'm very excited.
Great call.
I'm very excited. You guys are gonna love what you see. It's really
That sounds good.
It's really good, and we'll get you plugged into our Facebook community where all the beta users are, and you can see feedback from them, and that's why they're saying, "Wow, you call this beta? This stuff is really good." A bunch of people have already bought it. They're like, "Well, I just want to buy it now."
All right. Don't oversell it.
All right, Jeff.
No, I won't oversell it.
Jeff, you're killing me here, man. Please stop.
That's all right.
It's okay. So we love you. Look, guys, we love your enthusiasm. We'll adopt the classical theory of trust but verify. So we trust
Correct.
what you're
Yes.
saying. We just want to
idea.
verify it. Okay.
Fabulous.
Okay, gentlemen.
Good.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Thank you so much. Great conversation.
Keep soon. Yeah.
Okay.
Don't spend all that cash shopping.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Merry Christmas, guys. Take care.
Bye-bye.